Welcome to the College Pro Edition of Talkin Jasper Sports. I am Nick Hodell, your host. Let's get right into it here. First of all, Arizona State and Arizona, Week 14 college football for the Territorial Cup. Arizona with the win here, 42-35. There's too much back and forth for Arizona State to get in it. As a matter of fact, the clinching score might have been the Nick Wilson 72-yard touchdown run of 9:06, less than the third. That might have been it right there. Despite the time Arizona State next scored in the fourth quarter, it's too late because there's too much back and forth going on. And really what slammed the door was the 20-yard pass to Cincinnati Grant from Andrew Solomon for the fourth quarter. That's it right there. There's too much back and forth going on. And that's basically what this entire game was. Back and forth, except for two scores by Arizona. And that was it right there. There was a pretty decent stats still by Arizona State. I mean, Jalen Starner, 4 receptions, 80 yards, and a touchdown. There's still some quality stuff here, but it's nothing that's going to raise eyebrows. That's not going to happen with these stats, unfortunately. I mean, there's too much going on to really give them that eyebrow credit, but there just isn't any for Arizona State. You know, I almost won't be surprised to see these guys go in and lose their bowl game. Because here's the situation right now. Last season, they got killed in the Pac-12 Championship game in Tempe. And then they go to Holiday Bowl, they lose to Texas Tech. I feel a similar thing going on here. The end of the season collapse, followed by a Holiday Bowl loss. I actually can sense that happening with this team, unfortunately, for them. And then for Auburn and Alabama, the Iron Bowl matchup. Now, Alabama had already clinched the SEC West due to a Mississippi State loss earlier in the night. So they literally didn't need to win this game, but they did anyway. I scored 55-44. Really high-scoring game. I mean, really the best performing defense of the night wins this thing. And on this night, that was Alabama. I mean, there's nothing they can do about it. They had... Really, what happened is that... first of all, they had a great job getting themselves some rushing yards, which was good. Because the rush defense really killed Alabama in this game. Killed Auburn in this game. Auburn's rush defense killed them. And really, you have to consider that they were a very good rushing team, Alabama was. And both quarterbacks did a great job. Nick Marshall, 27-43, 456 yards, 3 touchdowns. Then Blake Sims, 28-27, 312 yards, 4 touchdowns. Did have 3 picks, though. But I'm telling you that's not something... 3 interceptions won't take away the performance that Blake Sims had. It was still very good. And really what happened was that both teams combined over 1,100 total yards combined. So, again, great offensive performance, but really the best defense won this one. And on that night, it was Alabama. And then they do get the SEC West as a result of 2 things happening there. Mississippi State lost and them winning. And then for Minnesota and Wisconsin, winner of this one got the Big Ten West. And Wisconsin, who performed on this night on Saturday, 34-24. The thing that really struck me is how Minnesota was up at 17-3 at one point. And then they lost their offense in the fourth quarter. Really, that's just ridiculous. I mean, there's no way you should be able to just lose your offense like that. And that's an issue here for Minnesota. Now, if your offense was blank, that's an issue there. And that's going to be more of an issue. Possibly one of their goal game. I mean, I'm not going to say it will be an issue, because I don't think it will. But another problem is that you're allowing running back Melvin Gordon to have 151 rushing yards on you, or 29 carries and a touchdown. You're allowing that to happen. You got to stop them earlier. Otherwise, I won this game, Minnesota, but unfortunately, not the case for you. Other college football Week 14 games are very important. Georgia Tech getting the win over Georgia, 30-24. Mississippi State being upset by Ole Miss. I mentioned their loss earlier, gave Alabama the SEC West title, 41-17. Ole Miss gets that one. I mentioned this UCLA game. This loss by UCLA allowed Arizona to get the Pac-12 South. Stanford won, going over UCLA 31-10. Then Marshall, undefeated at the time, was beaten by Western Kentucky 67-66 in overtime. Great shootout. You love offense. Probably would have loved that game. Then Missouri won the SEC East with their win over Arkansas 21-14. So the top 10 now for the possible playoffs leads like this: Alabama, Oregon, TCU, Florida State, Ohio State, Baylor, Arizona, Michigan State, Kansas State, and Instant State. But I think we can agree that the top 7 are probably what we need to focus on right now. 8, 9, 10, sorry. See ya. What's interesting is that TCU is in right now, the top 4, not Ohio State. Really, what could happen is that if TCU win, they could stay there, or Baylor could pass them up by facing a better opponent in the last week of the season. Which, that could very well happen. But you never know what's going to happen here. I think that this is either TCU or Baylor gets that 4th spot besides Bama, Oregon, and Florida State, which all 3 of those guys have conference championship games to win, and they're in the playoff. It's going to be interesting. It's right down to the wire with 4 other teams, really in that 4th spot. It's right down to the wire. This will be an interesting Week 15 college football. So now we move away from college for a little bit. We'll get to college basketball later. Let's get straight to the NFL now. Several notable Week 13 games here. Packers getting a win over the Patriots, 26-21. Aaron Rodgers for the Packers, 24 of 38, 366 yards and 2 touchdowns. Very good performance by him. Chargers getting a close win over the Ravens, 34-33. Great comeback from them. Really, this is not a win-out situation for the Chargers. They just need to win some games, lose very minimally, like 1 game, and that's it for them to lose. And they'll be in. No problem. Phil Rivers, 34-45, 383 yards and 3 touchdowns from him. For the Chargers, very good stuff. Broncos getting rid of the Chiefs, 29-16. Peyton Manning, 17-34, 179 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not a lot of passing offense yardage-wise, but he still had a pretty good game. Eagles win over the Cowboys, 32-10. Eagles quarterback Mark Sanchez at 20-29, 217 yards and a touchdown. And finally, Seahawks get the win over the 49ers, 19-3. Russell Wilson, 15-22, 236 yards and a touchdown. With very good stuff from him. So now we go on to college basketball. Boy, we had a lot of games on Feast Week, what ESPN calls it, with all these tournaments going on. First of all, on the 26th, we had the 26th of November. We had Arizona and San Diego State, with Arizona getting a 2-point victory to win the Mountain Invitational. This is one of those games that helps your resume a lot. This is a win that San Diego State would have loved to get, but not to be. Stanley Johnson for Arizona had a really good game. 18 points, 9 rebounds, assists, 3 steals, and a block. These type of games, when they compile on top of each other, like we're going to see later in some of these box scores that we get into, we're going to see a lot of this stuff, and we're going to see why they won. One of the things I look at a lot is like field goal percentage. If you're making more of your shots, likely to win. Wasn't the case, but very good stuff going on. By the way, Arizona had a better free throw percentage than San Diego State by a wide margin. Arizona made 7 more free throws than the Aztecs did. Problem there for San Diego State. Big problem. So, you gotta wonder why that might be they lost in that situation. So, the Battle for Atlantis tournament was really interesting on the 26th. The first round, my God, we had upset frenzy in the Bahamas. Previously ranked number 5, North Carolina lost to Butler, 74-66. Really, because of this victory, they really get a spot in the top 25. We'll talk about the newly released AP Top 25 release on Monday later. Florida also lost to Georgetown by a point. Previously ranked 18th, they lost by a point to Georgetown, 66-65. UCLA, they lost to Oklahoma, 75-65. And the other first round game was a rout. Wisconsin easily beating UAB, 72-43. So that leads us to one of the consolation games between North Carolina and UCLA. North Carolina getting really an easy victory here, 78-56. But I do find a big problem here, and it's from UCLA. Their 3-point percentage here is only 7.1%. Really, UCLA? Not going to win you games, number 1. Not going to win you good stuff with the stats, and number 2. That's all there is to say about that. Not a lot of good stuff going on for UCLA in that department. From individual players, Kevon Williams made the only 3-pointer. And then it goes from there. 0 for 2, 0 for 4, 0 for 5 from one player. Who that really is ridiculous, even though with the performance of Norman Powell for UCLA, 15 points, 4 rebounds and assists, 5 steals, very impressive. That's just didn't get the job done this day. As North Carolina had more steals, more assists. It just wasn't working for UCLA that day, and maybe one of the reasons why they lost, I'm not sure, but probably could have been. It was a bad game for UCLA. We need to be agreeing on that. So that game there sets us up for the now for Atlanta's 5th place game between North Carolina and Florida. With North Carolina would have their day 75-64. And really, all those stars are great games. All those stars had more than 10 points. All of them. Really, Kennedy Meeks had 18 points, 13 rebounds, assists, steal, 2 blocks. All those stars played great for North Carolina. That's the kind of stuff you need in order to really get your offense going, really just have good games. Again, like I said earlier, all these games compile on top of each other. It's going to have good things, good benefits, and that's what having the North Carolina here. The challenger game of that tournament, the Battle for Atlanta, would be Wisconsin and Oklahoma. Wisconsin winning 69-56. Oklahoma's not a bad opponent. They are ranked in the new AP Top 25. We'll get to that later. This is a good quality game. For Wisconsin, more of these games, and they're going to be really prepared for the NCAA tournament. I can see these guys being a good tournament team. Then again, it is March Madness, so I never know what's going to happen there. But then again, I can see these guys being a good tournament team. Fun they have to play the Florida Gulf Coast on the 15th, I guess the 2 seed, but then again, we'll see what happens from there. It's a really good game for Wisconsin. I mean, I don't think I've watched the game in its entirety, but this is a good game for the stat sheet wise. They get a better field goal percentage, better 3-point percentage. So everything is going Wisconsin's way here. Not everything, but mostly everything was in the stat sheet. Other big games on the 28th, which was the game that most of those Battle for Atlanta games took place. Gonzaga beat St. John's 73-66, the NIT season tip-off championship. Did watch this game in full entirety. Really good game. Creighton, previously like 23, got upset by Ole Miss 75-68 in the Emerald Coast Classic. And then the 2 Orlando Classic semifinals. Kansas beating Tennessee 82-67, and Michigan State beating Marquette 79-68. And on the 29th, before the Atlanta Classic title game the day before, Old Dominion got a huge upset over previously ranked 14th VCU. Games like that for a team like Old Dominion are huge confidence boosters. Old Dominion, big win there. Pat on the back for you guys. Big win for you guys. Now we get to November 30th. Texas over Connecticut, 55-54, thanks to Jonathan Holmes' 3-point shot to win it late. And that was a great finish. A lot of good timeout calls in the end of the game. I mean, at first I'm like, what are you doing? But we realized that, they're making a play, they're doing good things, and they got the ultimate good thing here. Connecticut does not give up a lot of non-conference games against top-ranked opponents at home, so really good at the job there for Texas. Jonathan Holmes again, good game for him. 13 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and a block. Only had 1 personal foul, too, as well as 2 other starters, so that's a good job there. Not a lot of fouls in this game, so that's good. Only 29 combined personal fouls, so that's good stuff right there. The other big game was between Kansas and Michigan State on November 30th, which Kansas would get the win 61-56. Now, Perry Allen had a good game for these guys. 17 points and 9 rebounds. And yeah, I mean, that's a good game right there for an individual to have. I mean, Kansas and Michigan State are 2 of the most elite programs in college basketball. And these 2 guys go head-to-head, it's must-see TV. Nothing different here about that. And Kansas played really well. And it was well enough to pick up the victory in this one. So, great job for those guys. So, but we did have a couple of games on December 2nd we had to pay attention to. But before that, back to the newly released AP Top 25. So, top 4 stays the same. Kentucky, Wisconsin, Arizona, and Duke all maintain their positions. This is where things get to amp up a little bit. Louisville goes up to 5. Texas goes up to 6. Virginia up to 7. Not sure why, but Wichita State up to 8. Now, this may be because they're winning a lot, but they just don't play a lot of good competition. I thought that Michigan State should be down a little bit, maybe out of the top 10 at this point. You win games, that's great. Against nothing good competition, okay, not going to say about that. Follow your schedule, maybe I'll believe you, but until then, no. I mean, they're in the Missouri Valley Conference either, which they just dominate every single year, practically now. So they're ranked in the top 10. Anyway, Gonzaga up to 9, Villanova up to 11, Kansas up to 11, North Carolina drops all the way from the top 5 out of the top 10 to 12. San Diego State up 2-13. Ohio State up 2-14. Miami, Florida up 2-15. West Virginia all the way up to 16 from 21. Michigan up 2-17. Arkansas up 7 from 25 to 18. Michigan State up 1 to 19. Iowa State down 7 to 20. Maryland all the way from receiving votes to 21st. Oklahoma from the top receiving votes getters that did not make it to the poll to being 22nd. Butler, they are 23rd. Great team in Butler. I've seen them play before live. That conference, the Big East, is going to give them a lot of competition. Villanova and Georgetown both in there. Very good quality stuff. Illinois from receiving votes to 24th, and Utah from receiving votes to 25th. Other teams receiving votes in the top vote getters, Northern Iowa with 83 votes. UConn, 76 votes. Oklahoma State, 69. Providence, 56. VCU drops out from the poll to 52 votes. Syracuse to 49 votes. And Florida, they go down to 40 votes. Other totals to consider, Georgetown had 30. Creighton went down to 19 votes. So, a lot of good action there in the polls. Lots of good action. So that brings us now to our two games on December 2nd. First of all, Miami, Florida, and Illinois in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Miami and Florida got a much-needed win for the ACC. Man, they've been smoked in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. 70-61, at least I was. Did so better. I bet it was up 5-0. That was before the end of both of these games. Miami, Florida, and Illinois, and Ohio State and Louisville, we'll talk about later. Now, Ravante Rise for Illinois had a good game. 22 points, 12 rebounds, and assists. But the rest of the starters kind of lacked. I mean, Mon Stokes only had 3 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Aaron Crosby only had 3 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. I mean, they seem like good stats, but they're not. They're not where the games usually have to be in the top 25 as a team. But Miami, Florida did have those good games. Sean McCullough of Miami, Florida, 14 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Emmanuel LeCompte, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Even DeAndre Burnett from off the bench, 19 points, 8 rebounds, and a steal. Those are quality games. Those are the games you're going to have. As a team, as maybe 2-3% of the type of games, you're in business. And then finally in this program, Ohio State and Louisville. Louisville getting the win 64-55. Now I did watch the first half of this game and ugly. Ohio State was being contained by Louisville's great defense, one of the best in the nation. And I'm going to tell you this too. Wayne Blackshear had a great game for Louisville. Everyone's talking about Montreal Harrell. Talking about Wayne Blackshear here. 22 points here, 6 rebounds, 3 steals, 4 of 8 from three-point land. That's very good stats for Wayne Blackshear. He had a very good night. He had the most minutes out of the Louisville team. So, and that was the second only to Sam Thompson of Ohio State, who really lacked for having all 40 minutes. So really a great game by Louisville. I mean, not surprised to see them win. Great defense in the first half. Not surprised there. So really, I'm not surprised at all that these guys won the game. Not surprised at all. So that will do it for today's edition of College and Pro Edition. See you next week for another College and Pro Edition. And until our next Talkin' Jasper Sports Show, we'll see you again soon.